You are onto a life-transforming experience as Pastor Prince Abah brings you God's Word with deep insight and power. God bless you.
To buy my tapes this year. The person who is in charge of these tapes, if I don't see all my relevant tapes, the one I was elected to produce, we need to go to Anisha and go and buy those CD packs. And those things need to be packaged by this week and displayed for people to buy. Those who can buy the hard copy can buy. Hard copies will be cheaper self to buy. The soft copies will be costlier. Because I found that some things people do when you collect soft copy, people want to go and get it free of charge. Not this year. I don't even want this thing even on the phones again. We can't even transfer it. If you want to download my message, then you go and download it online. And you will pay. You will download online and pay. Even if you want to get it from a laptop to your phone, you will pay higher. So when you collect it, somebody say, give me now. You tell a person, go and buy. I bought it and it cost me money. And resources cannot be played with this year. Genesis 6:11. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. Now, continue. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. The whole world was full of corruption, full of all kinds of activity that didn't give God please. And God regretted creating man. If you read, he regretted, he repented, he felt bad. Why did I create man? The evil was becoming too much. Men were sleeping with men, women were sleeping with women, men were sleeping with animals, insects, all kinds of things was going on. So God now sort of destroyed the world. But see what God said to Noah. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the what? With the earth. That means I will destroy both the human beings and destroy the earth. But in doing that, I want to preserve people. And then how will I preserve people from destruction? See what he now says. Make me an ark. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Room shalt thou make in the ark. Hello. When you hear the word ark, he's talking about vision. Is a room shalt thou make in the ark. Rooms shalt thou make in the ark. There is room for everybody in this ark. Rooms. True vision makes rooms. Rooms for people who want to be in the music world. Rooms for people in the business world. Rooms for people in the priesthood. Rooms for people in the entrepreneurship world. Rooms for people in the entertainment world. Is a make rooms, not a room. So no true vision benefits just the visionaire. True vision benefits everybody who comes in contact, who cooperates with that vision. Once you cooperate with the vision God has given to your set man, you already have created room for yourself in that vision. I don't know why people are struggling to look for rooms in this world. But God just spoke to Noah. Did he speak to everybody? Imagine God. Oh no, God would have appeared to everybody who he was making rooms for and say, all of you are here. Make your own room. No. He said, build an ark to one man. He now said, make rooms for everybody who comes in. There's nothing you're coming here to make again. Everything has been made. There is room, enough room for everybody. What is even shocking is that if you come here, you don't find your room, just come and create your own room. Can't you see that we have rooms for footballers, sports? We have room for music ministers. We have room for movie stars. We have room for media people. We have room for people who want to preach. We have room for secondary school outreach. We have room for university outreach. We have room for entertainment. We have room for all kinds of things. Sports, call them whatever you want to call them. For career, for government, for police. We have room for all kinds of things. That's what True Vision does. Even if you say your own is to be a governor, We have room here to get you there. You think what we'll end up raising is just members of church? No, we're not going to raise just members or just whatever. We'll raise everything in the mountains of society here. Everything. This church is going to be a conglomerate that houses the universe. It's going to be an umbrella that houses the whole universe. I think the Bible says in the last days the mountain of the Lord's house will be lifted above all other mountains and the hills. And what will happen? The nations will stream into it. That is, different spheres of society will stream in here. They will only stream in when we begin to make rooms. Now rooms have been made. It's time for you to check which one is your own compartment and pack in there immediately. You have no business looking for a job anywhere, my friends. You don't have any business looking for a job. I want to go and get a job in oil company. You're joking. I want to go and get a job. We're not saying if you have them, that's fine. But I'm telling you, you have a bigger job here. All you need is cooperate with it, where you will find yourself. You know, Winners Chapel that has universities here and there, secondary schools here and there, made rooms for people. You see thousands of people they have employed over the world. I think the ones that have aircrafts, he's available his own pilot. Has he not made room for somebody to be a pilot? Is he his own vice chancellor? Is he not somebody who is a vice chancellor there? Has he not made room for that? And lecturers and other staff who are working there. You know the millions of people they are paying. What will take you as an individual 1,000 years to achieve when you find your way into a vision that has rooms, that has platforms? That thing that would have taken you 1,000 years will just take you 10 years. It will just take you 5 years. What would have taken you forever will just take you a minimum of few whatever, and you are there. Vision is one of the greatest leverage platform I know. Give you platform to be in a short space of time. To be in a short space of time, that thing you would have taken forever to become. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shall thou make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch. Now let me establish this. God is speaking to Noah to make an ark. And he said, make rooms. Is it for Noah alone? When God speaks to your pastor and says, build a vision or build visions, and then this is what it should look like, that's what it should look like, this is what it's going to address in the society and all that. It's not for the benefit of your pastor. It's for your benefit. When you hear me tell you, thank the Lord for the vision you are part of, you think it is thanking him for me. No. It's thanking him for giving you answer to a problem, to your problems. It's thanking him for providing you with opportunity and platform to be globally relevant. You see the vision of this house? Raising leaders that change nations. Raising global leaders. That's the summary of the vision. Raising leaders that change nations. You see that vision? If you put it in your heart, if you embrace it, if you see this, if you see that this is all that you are here to do, this is all that is about this vision. Raising leaders that change nations. It doesn't matter the ethnos. Entertainment is a nation. We want to raise leaders that change that sector. Music, movie, media, politics. Don't you know these ministry is going to raise a new crop of leaders for Nigeria and for Africa. Do you know what you're talking about? You think PDP is stronger than this house? This house will one day raise a political, very soon, a political party where, oh God, we're going to raise a factory for raising political leaders. Men who will rule with kingdom principles. They will rule with kingdom values. When you have a pastor who is a governor, who will raise kings who are trained as priests, with the same curriculum with which you used to train priests, we're going to use to train kings. And then the difference will be the outlets. Same training, but there with some special trainings to help them function in those their sectors. But the foundation will be the same thing. The foundation will be the same thing. The priest with the foundation of the word. We are training a king for government with the foundation of the word. We were training a priest with the foundation of righteousness. We are training a king with the foundation of righteousness. We were training a priest with the foundation of holiness. We are training a king with the foundation of the same thing. We were training a priest with the foundation of sacrifice. We are training a king with the same foundation. But now, when we begin to channel them into their different sectors, we begin to do specialized training. So when we are now teaching a priest how to build a church, we are training a king on how to build a government. Now the curriculum now goes diversified. It's just like when you're taking GST courses. You're taking general courses, that's foundation. But when you now start moving into some of those, your whatever, you start taking special courses. It's just like when you are in JSS3, you're taking general courses. When you now enter SS1, you now diversify into art option or commercial or sciences. Then even at that, as a science student, you're doing general science course. When you now move into university, you now decide which area of science you want to specialize in. Is it maybe medicine now? Is it human anatomy? Is it computer science? Is it, you now specify. Even when you now finish university and now go to do masters, out of that course, maybe you studied computer sciences. Out of that course you read, you go to do master. You will take a unit, one area of computer science, and then study. The truth of the matter is that the higher you go, you begin to streamline to one thing. That's how it is. So you now take a sector of that computer science you read in the university. You thought it's one thing you read. You now maybe it's going to be programming. You now go and study master. Do master in the area of programming. Just how to program. Become a master of program. Maybe it is software. But when you were doing computer science, you were doing a combination of software, hardware, you were studying monitor, you were studying processing or processors and all of those stuff you studied in computer science. But now you have to now study one unit, one element. It could be hardware, it could be software, whatever. So that's how it's going to be in the ministry. Now we are doing general training, we are giving you general foundation. It will come a time you start going for specialized training. So you can now fit in properly into your specific calling. Now see what God says again. Have I read 14? Have I read verse 14? He said, and this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. You see, every vision has its fashion. Don't come here and be telling us, why don't we do things like Christ Embassy? You're not in Christ Embassy. Why don't we do things like House on the Rock? You're not in House on the Rock. Every act has its own fashion. Is your year of visions. That's what we are dealing with. I'm not a confused man. I know the message for the theme of the year. I'll soon get to headship. I'm just trying to show you how vision looks like. The structure of visions. The components. The futures of vision. How does it look like? You need to understand what your house looks like. You need to know what governs your house. You need to know the vision of this house. raising leaders that change nations, raising global leaders. You need to know the mission of this house. You need to know our core values. When you know them, assimilate them. You need to know our structures, our tenets, our commission, our dreams, our purpose. You need to know what matters to us as a ministry. What are our values? What are our spiritual values? We value worship, we value his presence, we value the word. If you don't have all those things in you, then you're not yet here. You need to know how this vision is fashioned. So that when people come here, they know they are in pristine use. You don't come here and be saying mountain of fire mixed with mountain of water, mixed with choosing people, mixed with deeper life. You won't see that mixture here. When you go to Christ Embassy, you will know this is Christ. Everybody is Christ Embassy. It's something you should see when you come to pristine use. And this year, if you don't build according to plan, God said to Moses, be careful to build according to plan. He now said in another scripture, he said, a solid foundation have I laid in Zion. Therefore, let everyone that build be careful how he buildeth. This vision has a structure. This vision has a framework. This vision has a modality or modalities of operation. This vision has a way it is built to run. This vision has codes of conduct. It has tenets. It has values. There are things we value. It's just like in this house, if you're not yet the person of discipline, you don't yet know who we are. If you're not the person who respects time, you don't know who we are. If you're a person who does not respect self-development, you don't know who we are. We have three major ways of getting people into who they are meant to be here. It doesn't matter how you came here. You can come here a nobody, but we have a cogent three formula for how we build. One is discovery or deliverance. Number two is discipleship and development. Discipleship is where we are dealing with the individual, but development is where we are dealing with community. Development is where we are dealing with nations, where we are dealing with cities, where we are dealing with more than one person. But discipleship is where we are dealing with the individual. But development now is beyond the church. Discipleship is where we are training the church, developing the church. But development is where we are now doing the same thing we did in the church with the nations. With the mountains out there, that's development. So both of them are paired together. Discipleship is the individual dimension, but development is now the corporate dimension of the work. Then the third level is now deployment. That's manifestation phase. Don't get this wrong. Don't miss this. Don't forget this. Every vision has three major phases it goes through. The first phase is the conception phase. The second phase is the incubation phase. The third phase is the execution phase. The conception phase is that phase where the vision is born. That's the phase where the vision must be, conception is like taking in. Pregnancy is like taking in. When a lady has missed her period, that's conception that has happened. Every one of you must conceive this vision in your head, the way I've conceived it. You must be able to conceive it. If you don't conceive it, you won't achieve it. You must conceive it. What have you seen? What are you seeing? What are you seeing? It's not what I've seen that will help you run with this vision. It's what you are seeing. You have to see what I've seen. You have to hear what I've heard. Conception. The same way God has impregnated me with this stuff is the same way I'm trying to get you pregnant with it. After conception, there is the incubation phase. In the incubation phase, what do? Is the nurture. That's the nurturing of that vision. That's the process of the training. That's the training phase. Incubation talks about training. Incubation talks about understanding the vision. And you can't understand it without training. Incubation is a preparation phase. Conception is a discovery phase. of the vision. Conception is the stage of awareness of the vision. But incubation is now the stage of the making, the processing, the preparation, the development, the discipleship, incubation. That's why when a sperm has met an egg, conception takes place. After that, development begins. And if you study how it happens, study the cycle of fertilization and all that, you see there are stages. After conception has taken place, the sperm begins to develop into what's the first stage? Is it fetus? Say it's fetus. Are you a doctor? Okay. It develops into fetus. From fetus to what now? It's from zygote to fetus. It's from zygote to fetus. Then it's from fetus to what now? Which one is embryo? It's in the embryo. The zygote is in the embryo. You need to go and study that. You should know about that, especially if you did sciences. I don't know, But it moves from that zygote stage to the fetus. And within that stage, it's still at the blood level. It has not taken flesh. It's still water, it's still blood. Anything that happens at that point, you take maybe a hard substance. You do a hard labor. You can flush that thing out. Your preparation phase is usually one of your most delicate phases. If you run around when you should be incubating, you will abort destiny. So incubation phase is, okay, have you seen when a chicken is about to hatch eggs? It's one thing to lay eggs, that's conception. Lay eggs is one thing. But there's incubation. Where you sit on those eggs for how many days? 21 days. Is that correct? Do you notice something? That at that point, the chicken doesn't do everything. The chicken walk around. Hello. The chicken doesn't fly around. What matters to the chicken, I've seen it, I've studied it. What matters to the chicken is those eggs it is carrying. It brings those eggs under the pavilion of his wings and sits there for 21 days. The chicken does not go around looking for food, eating around, doing all that. What is even shocking is that that's the period that even those mother hen become fatter. That's when they become wicked. They can plug your eyes if you're not careful. They become fierce. That's the level their discipline increase. They stay there incubating. You know how it happens. You go closer and touch that thing. What is likely to do to you? That's how I am. Whenever there are things God is saying to me, and then it has gotten up, I need to incubate on this thing. You dare not distract me. You will suffer for it. When I'm doing things like reading, attending seminars, and attending courses, like when you see me in conferences, I'm going in for my conference, that's when you're coming around me. You know what I can do to you. I mean, you scream. You see me with my books, I'm studying. That's my incubation phase. My discipline heightens at that level. You can't see me laughing or playing. Like the year just started now. Only a man who has no vision here will be running around and laughing. These are not times for laughing. These are times for hiding. That's incubation. Incubation is that point of your life where you hide to build. Where you hide to develop. When others are married, that's where you are developing yourself, you are working on yourself, you are disciplined. Your discipline must be high. That's why time for loquaciousness, laziness, idleness, run up and down, visiting friends. You're a confused person. Going to see this person, going to a laugh there, going for this picnic, going for that party, going for that one. You are going nowhere, sir. I tell you, you're going nowhere. Incubation phase is a delicate phase. Because what is going to happen at the other phase is what you do with the incubation. Incubation phase is waiting phase. That's the phase you build this thing to preparation phase. You don't push the vision before it's time at that phase. If not, you would have a miscarriage. But when that pregnancy has stayed to the required time, that's what the Bible says. The vision is for an appointed time. There are people who should have been in their incubation in the vision, waiting on their vision, following that vision, learning, serving, honoring, praying, attending meetings, attending training, and they're already looking for platforms. They're looking for where to go and preach. They're looking for invitation. Even me at my age, at my stage, I turn down invitation more than I accept. Because I know I'm still in my incubation. If you're a wise person, never graduate from incubation. Even if you enter manifestation, always go back to incubation. Always go back to incubation. Even if you enter manifestation, once you launch manifestation, give God thanks, but go back to incubation. Manifestation is that execution stage where you execute. Because there's a time to incubate, but there's a time to know when incubation is now done and then go and push the vision. And when you have always learned, these three cycles must be ongoing. You conceive one thing, you incubate, you manifest. Go back, conceive again, incubate again, execute again. You go back. That's how you stay relevant. That's why this is a year of visions. We will conceive, incubate, execute. When we finish, we'll give God thanks. We come back again, conceive. That's why you can see a family with not only one child. Some families have like 5 children. Because the same thing you did to conceive the first, incubate and manifest. You go back again and do the same thing. You conceive again, you incubate again, and you manifest. If you want to have 3, it's the same process. If you want to have 4 or 5, it's the same process. So this ministry can conceive, incubate, and have many. That's why everybody has about 3 to 4 universities. And I heard the man say that is why he feels like he's starting. That every day for him is like he's starting all over again. That he never sees himself as having arrived. Adebo said recently, I heard this one live from him. He said, we built the first camp that could sit about, I don't know how many, he said, he said 15,000 people. And they said, now we have arrived. He said, we are just starting. They went and built another one that could sit how many people? They went and built another one. The third one they built could sit 3 million people according to him. He said, we have reached there. He said, people are joking. He said, they now expanded and did a kilometer, whatever by whatever kilometer. And he said, we have reached. He said, people are joking. He said, until I build a church as big as the size of Ibadan, I'm not going to stop. And if you think I'm about to die, sorry, I'll be alive to build it. He said, I'll build a church as big as it. It's a good place to laugh. Laugh. It's a good place to laugh. He said it. He's not joking. See, you at your age, you have retired. What makes you tired is inability to keep seeing. So, this year is the year of visions. You must keep seeing until that thing comes to pass. Keep seeing it. Conceive it. Incubate it. Deliver it. When you have delivered on one thing, don't go and sit down. Even those of you who are going back to your parishes, you go there, you will die of boredom. You will die of boredom. Because you did one program, you feel you're okay. Then you go back, you will wear out. When you do one thing, give God thanks for the result, go and cast another thing. Have you wondered, why am I always on fire, upbeat? Do you know, new books? I'm talking about publishing like 7 this month alone. While I'm talking about publishing, new ones are still coming. In this meeting here and now, while you were praying, I wrote one. The one I'm teaching you is titled, Building a Great Vision. That's the title of the book I'm teaching you here. There's another book I was teaching during last year. That one is titled, let me look for the title and show you. The book, okay, a book on vision. That's the title of that one. There's another one I taught during last year also. Few excerpts from the book. It's titled The A to Z of Vision. While I was having a program with my pastor, another new book came, and I'm developing that one already. It's titled The 10 Kinds of Wealth. I've really expanded it now to 12. 12 kinds of wealth. And I'm going to discuss all of them. So you don't think that money is only wealth. Money is one kind of wealth. Economic wealth is one kind. There is spiritual wealth. I wish above all things that thou prosper and be in good health, even as I so prosper. That's what you call salvation. The prosperity of the spirit. Spiritual wealth. There is moral wealth. Is there. Character is capital. There is social wealth. There is intellectual wealth. The prosperity of your mind. There is economic wealth or financial wealth. There is, and I will show you how to get them. There's mental wealth. There's physical wealth, bodily wealth. I wish above all things you prosper, be in good health. Bodily wealth. We'll teach on that. There is emotional health. Emotional wealth. I got this, I've written, and I'm developing. Even now, while we're talking in the meeting, a new one came, a new book. Where did I even write that one? See the title of that one. Obedience-driven vision. That's a new book. That one just came in now. How do you build vision that runs on obedience? Because when people obey a vision, you can build a great dynasty. What destroys great vision is obedience. If the people be willing and obedient, they will eat the good of the land. That's why it just came. Obedience, so I'll be teaching on obedience. That's why I'm going to write on obedience. So you see what makes me, I'm always young. I'm always on course, always on fire. There are new things always flooding my spirit. New things always hitting my mind. And I'm not talking of things I just manufacture. My antennas open to the Holy Ghost. They are hitting. That's how a vision gets going. This one I'm teaching you here is the book. I'm just dealing on how to build a great vision. And I have all the principles written out here. Principle of headship. Principle of eldership. Headship talks about the exclusivity principle. It talks about, I'll show you in the Bible when I get there. There's principle of eldership. Or principle of plurality. There's principle of followership. There's principle of partnership. There's principle of stewardship. There's principle of apprenticeship. There's principle of relationship. That's how to build a great vision. And all the principles I'm going to be showing you, I'll be showing you the laws. Like when I start dealing on principle of followership, what are the laws of followership? How do you know a follower? Then I will show you how to follow. Principle of headship, I would take it, expand it, show you, oh God. I showed you a few things. What does a head provide for a ministry? It provides them with vision. It provides communication. Ability to cast that vision is very, very crucial. Any head that doesn't know how to cast vision will have a big problem. He must have ability to hear. Listening ability. Both hear from God. He must have ability to receive feedback. From even people he's leading. Feedback. And other things I will show you. When we now enter eldership or plurality, I start showing you the dimensions of it, you will be so shocked. That's why we'll now begin to talk about unity, cooperation, love. We'll now talk about the principle of partnership. We'll now start talking about the issue of money. The issue of resources, how to deploy our various giftings, how to network our giftings, network our money, network our technical know-how, all of that, bring them into partnership to build. Network time, network skills, network all that. Talents. We now talk about principle of stewardship. We now start dealing with the issue of service. all that other dimensions of that. Yes. This was I'm talking about. It's just intellectual properties now. I've not started talking to you about that institutions I'm going to build. I'm talking to you about buildings I'm going to build, not just physical buildings, other kinds of crazy things I'm going to do this year. And then talk about programs and all kinds of things. Now, I have up to 10 books on just vision alone. On just vision alone. And they're discussing different things. I've developed all the chapters of the one on a book on vision. Powerful things on this. A book, and I keep developing. There's introduction, there's chapter 1, the meaning of vision. That is, what is vision? Discuss that. The next one, the principles of vision, the importance of vision, the benefits of vision, hindrances and enemies of vision. Hindrances of vision. You see, how vision attracts provision. Dangers of visionlessness. What vision will do in you, for you, and to you. And there are three different things. What did it do in you? What did it do to you? And what did it do for you? Another chapter. How to achieve your vision. Another chapter. Qualities of visionaries. That's why we're talking about things like they are abnormal people, they are resilient, they are passionate, they are compassionate, they are passionate, they are studious, they are continuous learners. All those are qualities. When you see a person who has a vision, there are things you will see. He's assiduous, he has drive, he doesn't have time to waste. He has a sense of urgency. He has a sense of timing. That has qualities. There's another one. The 3 phases of vision: conception, incubation, execution. Another chapter. The nature of vision. You see this thing we're talking about. You have given up on your life already because there's no vision for you. You don't see anything. That's why you are already old at a young age. Adeboye is young at an old age. Adeboye is young at an old age. A to Z of vision. I took all the, I think I have those other papers in my office. Yes, in my office. I took all the alphabets and I turned them into all kinds of things. The number 1A is aim. If you're a visionary, you must have an aim. What is your objective? The number 2 is B, boundary. Every vision is not called for every problem. You must know the scope of your vision. And as I ran it from A to Z, all of them have their own meaning. There's another book I'm almost tidying up. It's titled A Book on Wisdom. I preached a few of it in church one Sunday and then did a little of it and I left it there. That's a whole book. There's another one I'm doing. It's titled Avoiding a Generational Dinosaurs. So I'm connecting the previous generations with this current generation. And I'm showing the major missing things in our generation. What has this generation lost touch with? And these things that we have lost touch with is what is going to make this generation never, if cares not again, never to be written in the book of history. If we don't restore those ancient landmarks in this current generation, this generation would be like one of such that never existed. That's what you call dinosaur. Dinosaurs are life, what you call them, creatures that once existed but couldn't be preserved. So they were now wiped out. They went extinct. And people don't know that they once existed. But if you go into the archive of research, you will see that there are movies on dinosaurs. You will see some creatures, they even have names. And they will be like, they will tell you in so and so year. They will tell you some 1 million years ago. This animal was 1 million. You will be like, Jesus. There's one I saw, they said 7 million years ago. I say, whoa. These animals were there. You see animals will be looking, is this real? So the animals, the picture they show you in dinosaur movies are not the actual animals. What they do is excavators or researchers in animal anatomy, whatever. In their voyage of discovery, discover some of the bones, dead bones. You know, bones don't decay. So they discover some of the bones of these animals, Asian animals, and they begin to arrange them together, put them together, and then they have a little picture of what they look like. Then they, create a kind of animated pictures or videos, a kind of, something next to what it could have looked like. There's some you see, they are as tall as this whole building. They have tails, they have all kinds of dragon head, and Watch Merlin, you will see where the dragon was telling Merlin that he's the last of his kind. But there's one egg that is remaining. That means if that egg is gotten from where they kept it, and that egg is hatched, he will finally no longer be the last of his kind. But that if he dies without that egg being hatched, then there will be no more history. There will be no more dragons in the world. So that dragon thought he was the last of his kind until he told Merlin about the other egg that has been preserved. And Merlin asked him, how many years has the egg been in that tomb? He said, for 400 years. He said, 400 years. Is the dragon not yet dead? The dragon laughed and said, dragons like us have ability to live. The egg of a dragon has the ability to live for 1,000 years. That's what he said. He said for 1,000 years. That means if you lay the egg of a dragon, you can keep it for 1,000 years. Not hatch it. It's still alive. So when Merlin went and got it, this after 400 years, not even 1,000 years, so brought it before the dragon told him, call it a name. Whatever name you call it, it will hatch. And then Merlin now called it Etusa. When he called him Etusa, the egg broke out. And then the dragon came out. It was a white dragon. Actually, that's how dinosaurs, they used to exist, but when the last of their kind couldn't be preserved, to continue the generation of that family, they wiped out in history. Which is what Noah was told to do. When God wanted to destroy the whole world, he said, I would have to start a new one, but let me preserve every creature in the ark. Get your family in, but go and get me 2 by 2 of every animal. 1 male goat, female goat, 1 each. A pair of everything. Even mosquitoes got into the ark. Male mosquito, female mosquito. That's the only way they are able to do what they are doing here. And I usually will say, if I was Noah, that's the best time. I also want to believe that most of the dinosaurs we talk about didn't enter the ark also. Most of them, maybe that's even one of it. Most of them perhaps were carried away by the flood. It wasn't all the animals the guy saved. Some of them perhaps were carried. Yes, the same way human beings died with the flood. Yes. There are some generations of Adam that stopped with the flood. The one that you see today is the one Noah started. Noah had Ham. He had who again? Shem. And he had who? Japheth. He called them the 3 sons of who? Noah. Then how many daughters did he have? 3 daughter-in-laws. So you see, the descendant of Abraham is a descendant of one of the sons of Noah called Shem. Shem is the father of who? Abraham. Is that correct? Is that correct? So Noah is the grandfather of who? Abraham. Shem is the father of Abraham. Abraham is the father of Isaac. Isaac is the father of Jacob. Then Jacob is the father of the 12 sons that became the 12 tribes of Israel. It is from one of the tribes of Israel, one of the tribes, or one of the sons of Jacob, that God instituted the lineage of Jesus. And the son is called Judah. It is from the tribe of Judah that David came. It is from the tribe of Judah that Rahab came. Because Rahab is the grandmother of Jesus. David is the father of Jesus, actually. But the reason we brought David in the line is because Jesus was not going to just manifest divinity, he was also going to manifest kingship. So to institute kinghood in Jesus, they had to look for a lineage that produced kings, and that's the lineage of Judah. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But there's something also in the lineage of Judah that has a little, is women issue. You know Judah, he did something with the father's concubine. You remember? He slept with the father's, whatever, one of the father's wives. And then there was a curse on Judah that suspended his reign for 10 years. Which is why Israel was constantly in a circle of slavery, because there was no king for Israel. All the people who were meant to lead Israel, the kings, were meant to come from the lineage of Judah. Judah was supposed to produce the kings. But because of that thing he did, a curse was provoked on him, and it affected 10 generations. God said there will be no king that will emerge to lead Israel from the tribe of Judah until the 10th year. If you go and study the genealogy that led even to the time of, all the kings that led Israel at the time were all crisis leaders. Why? Because Israel would enter captivity, and God needed a man to always deliver them. So he would just go around and look for somebody to go and lead them out. For instance, someone like Gideon. He was not from that tribe. He was a crisis leader that God just selected because he saw he was willing. Okay, go and lead. And someone like King Saul was not meant to be king of Israel. Part of the reason God rejected Saul was not because of what Saul even did so much. Yes, there's part of it. But what Saul did was opportunity for God to remove. Saul had to leave office. It wasn't because David did more worse thing than this guy. It was because the curse was about to be suspended at the 10th generation. Should I show you? Show them Matthew chapter. Let's count it. There are 10 generations. Suspended until David came. David was the 10th guy that came in and broke the thing. Okay. If you find it fine, we can read it. But at the end of the day, when David became king, if you study critically, the same thing that his father did also was traveling in the lineage. That same women thing is even there. It was traveling their lineage. So David carried the thing. His own is that he didn't sleep with father's wife. Even David's father had the same problem. Didn't you read and hear when the Bible said David was crying to God to forgive his iniquity? At one point he cried and said, in sin did my mother conceive me. That is because the wife or the woman that bore David was not the legitimate wife of Jesse. It was not. It was a concubine of Jesse. David was born out of wedlock. The same way David was born out of wedlock by Jesse was the same way David ended up producing Solomon, the next king, out of wedlock. Because Solomon was not born by the wife of David. Solomon was born by the contact David had with Uriah's wife. That Uriah's wife, the one that he killed to take it. Bathsheba is the one that is the mother of Solomon. And that's how they produced Solomon. When Solomon became king, the same thing traveled in the lineage. And the truth of the matter is that he keeps amplifying. Solomon took his oath to the headquarters or permanent site. 300 wives, 700. Okay, the book of the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So you see, God started that movement, that lineage, genealogy movement with Abraham. That's where he came and put that covenant. Okay, now see. Abraham begat who? Isaac. Isaac begat who? Jacob. And Jacob begat who? Judah and his brethren. They mentioned Judah, then they said and his brethren, because those brethren were not part of the lineage of Jesus. So it's Judah that is a factor. Those other ones are also tribes, oh. They are called 12 tribes. But Judah, they are trying to trace where Jesus came from. That's why they now mention Judah. So you can as well say that God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Judah. Fourth generation is Judah. And I don't know why the guy was contesting with Joseph over his dreams. If you know who you are and what you are called to do in destiny, the knowledge of who you are gives you security. Judah was meant to be the lineage to bring Jesus. What are you struggling with Joseph's coat of many colors? His own dream was going to end in Egypt just to preserve a generation for a time. Joseph's role was to preserve a generation for a while and then exit the scene. Actually, the selling of Joseph into slavery was what paved the way for the slavery of Israel. Because there wouldn't have been need for Joseph to bring his people into Egypt. All the people needed to learn was how to make a king out of them. Joseph would have just been the prime minister within Israel, perhaps. And when hunger hit, he would have used that same wisdom he used to preserve Egypt to preserve his own people. But now he's using that thing to preserve Egypt. His people are hungry. He now has to bring them into the same Egypt. So that when he finally died, after many years, there arose a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph, nor the work he did. He now enslaved the whole nation. You now see how it's dangerous. When you fight a visionary, when you fight your set man, you enslave a whole generation. They thought they were selling Joseph into Egypt. They didn't know they were selling a whole generation. That's a lesson for another day. And Judas begat who? Pharez. And Zara. And then he keeps going down. Please read that. I can't read all that. I want to get somewhere. Keep going. These are all the fathers. Keep going. Okay, now, oh no, go back. When I see Jesse, you have to stop. If you count, do the counting on your own, you will see their 10th generation. And Jesse begat David, the king. Why did he mention the king? If you read from that point where he talks about Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, it is 10 generation. Can I shock you? Go back. Go and start again. Let's count it so you know. Because if you read the book of, is that Samuel, First Samuel or something, where the kingship was taken. Okay, let's leave that for now. Abraham begat Isaac, 1. Isaac begat Jacob, 2. Jacob begat who? Judas, who? Now that's how many? 3. And Judas begat Pharez, that's how many? 4. Zara, 5. Okay, and Zara, that's 4. Of Tamar. And Pharez begat Esron, that's 5. Are we together? And Esron begat who? Aram, that's what? 6. And Aram begat what? Aminadab, that's how many? 7. And Aminadab begat what? Nahshon, that's what? 8. And Nahshon begat Salmon, that's what? 9. And Salmon begat what? Boaz of Racha. And Boaz begat Obed, that's what? Obed of what? Ruth, that's what? 10. And Obed begat Jesse. It was supposed to travel a generation of 10. After the 10th one, the next is supposed to be king. Are you seeing his 10 now? And Obed and Jesse begat David. So David is the 11th. Jesse is the 10th. That's the guy that stopped the thing. And when David came, that's where the kingship came back to Israel. Okay, and David the king begat Solomon of her, and then blah blah blah. If you read, you see it goes down to when Jesus was born. It was from the tribe of Judah that Jesus came. How did I get to that point? What was I saying that took me to all that? I think I've digressed a lot too. Jesus. Help me recover. Genesis chapter 11. We're talking about the building of the ark. Genesis 6 verse 11. Am I wasting your time? Okay. So every ministry has its own way of operation, its own modus operandi. You need to know it. That's why I'm showing you this. Are we in verse 16 already? Are you sure? Go to verse 15 first. Verse 15, please. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. The next verse. You see, this is specification. That's how this vision is specified also. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above, and the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof, with lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But, everybody say but. Listen, everything in the earth can go through recession, but you. Everything in the earth can be confused, except you. Everything in the world can be broke, can be stupid, can die purposeless, can die without a vision. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark. But not just you alone. You who I'm giving the vision, you are going to be the first partaker of the thing. Because you are the one I'm giving the vision. So you are going to come into the vision first. That's why if you're a visionary, don't be afraid to start alone. They say you to go and plant that church. Don't be afraid to start that ministry there alone. Because you're the first member of the ark. He said, you shall come into the ark. That's one. But don't stay there alone. Because the ark is not for you alone. He now said, you and your what? Sons. If you are sleeping, just stand up and walk around a little. You and what? Can you shout it aloud? You and what? Your sons. What again will happen? And your wife. And thy sons' wives with thee. You see, it's for everybody who wants to enter. Okay. And of every living thing of all flesh. That means it's not just for these people who are with you here. It has to be thrown open in such a way that every other person who wants to enter the ark has opportunity of entry. The ark was not just for Noah's family. It was even for all those other sinners. Because Noah gave invitation to them. He was building this thing for years, 40 years. No rain. People were laughing at him. He said, come and get a room for yourself now. I said, leave that thing. You're just being deceived. You don't even know what you're saying or doing. And finally, when the rain came, they came and started knocking at the door. But God had locked the ark and collected the keys himself. So he said, and of every living thing, there's not just animals alone. Every living thing is everything that has breath. Even plants. Yes, now. Is that of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female. Of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. 2 of every sort shall come unto thee to keep them alive. And thou shalt, and take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten, and thou shalt gather it. What I'm trying to show you here is how God builds visions, and why God builds visions, and how God uses vision to save generations. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? So you see this movement called Pristine Use, this mandate is an act. God has specified to me. That's why this vision is written down. All the things he told me, like he told Noah, I have written down. And I'm building. Do you see that Noah's own took 40 years to build? Every vision has a lifespan. When you come into a vision, you have to sit down and allow that vision pass through you. Don't just pass through a vision. You know the people who go to a vision, just pass through it. The vision didn't pass through them. That thing you're looking for in 1 year in the vision, it may come in your 7th year in that vision. Because that vision will not profit you until it has passed through you. Don't just be in this act. Let this act pass through you. Don't just come around here and pass through the act, pass through the vision. Let the vision pass through you. Having established that this vision is an act meant to save people, meant to deliver people, meant to take people to a preferable, because if it's an act, then it's going somewhere. Hello? You're not entering an act to just stay inside. It's a movement. That's what I'm telling you. It's a movement. It's going somewhere. Now, let me narrow it down to the final thing. The issue of headship. How do we build a great vision? Having seen vision in the light of what it is, let us now come to the issue of those principles that builds great vision. Number one is called headship. Vision starts with headship. What that means is vision starts with one man. Any place you see a human being with two heads, what you saw is not a normal human being. What you saw is a monster. Hello? How would you feel? Imagine that the person sitting next to you have two heads. Would you want to sit close to that person? Eh? Even twins you give birth to and their heads are joined together, it's a problem. You need to go and dissect it. Twins. They are meant to be separate human beings. Even if they are born at the same time. They are meant to be separate human beings. How do you feel about twins whose heads are together, they are working, they are body glued together? You know that's an abnormal kind of issue. Something has to be done about it. So no vision has two heads. Headship is exclusive. One man will always be the captain. One man will always be the leader. Headship talks about pioneer. Headship talks about founder. Headship talks about the one who founded the work, the leader. Hello. That's headship. And it's exclusive. It's not double. Exclusivity talks about one. It's not shared. It's one man who fills that office. That's why your body does not have two heads. It has one head at a time. Why headship is important is for... let me try to show you a few reasons why headship is important. When two people start a thing and they claim they both started it, there will be power tussle. Headship is important to remove that issue of power tussle. You don't contest it. That's why God calls one man. That's why in the Trinity there is one man who is God the Father. Even Jesus and the Holy Ghost understand that's the organ. Jesus doesn't take the place of Father. Doesn't take the place of God the Father. He is God the Son. The Holy Ghost doesn't take the place of God the Father. He is God the Holy Spirit. All of them know. And they all submit. You see the day Lucifer woke up in heaven to take the place of headship. You know what happened to him? He was declared a rebel and he was cast down. is the Absalom spirit that wants to usurp. He wants to take over the place of the father. He wants to take over the place of the head. In any form, he can do that. He wants to declare himself as Lord also. And anywhere you see people who are contesting headship, they will only do that at their own peril. They withhold their manifestation. They will hold their breakthroughs. They will hold the vision from playing out in their lives. When you discover headship in a vision, what do you do is to submit. Everything in your body submits under the head. Any day your hands go up to the head, something is wrong. Your hand starts growing on top of your head. Legs starts growing on top of your head. Your stomach come on top of your head. Something has gone wrong with your human system. Everything is under the head. Headship. Okay, show them. Let's establish a little on this headship issue. Show them Ephesians chapter 5 verse 23. We'll soon close, you know. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 23. Start from verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband. The subject of wife and husband here is not necessarily about couples. You can use this to teach how visions work. Wives are the people who are meant to be under the husband, who is the visionary. Husband is the visionary. Wives are the ones submitting under the visionary. Wives are the people for whom the vision is built. But the husband is not the visionary. Now, see how he explains it. So you understand that it's not just couples. The next verse now says, verse 23. He said, for the husband is the... So anytime you hear the word husband, it's not a man who married a woman.
We believe you've been transformed by the wonders of God's Word. For additional information about us, you can visit our website at www.princetonhills.org. You can also send us a mail at info@princetonhills.org or call
070-331-66762 or 081-31-555-747.
Princeton Hills Ministries, raising global leaders.